So last night, I like made an announcement for one of the managers on the phone, and then it was like over the intercom, so then I hung up the phone. And then we were just kind of chilling. It's Tuesday. It's always slow on Tuesdays. And then Matthew just starts telling a story where he's just like, so I was actually kind of like a bully in high school to this one kid with like a couple other friends, and then goes off on this whole story. And he like weirdly sounds proud about it the way he's describing it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to hashtag WT Happened.
Ooh, I like that.
Should we do that?
We can do that.
Yeah, let's do that, guys. If you like it, say something, and we'll do it.
Yeah.
And I'll post something that hasn't been posted. Well, it has. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
This is in the past. That's in the future.
Have we uploaded the first episode?
I don't have a thumbnail.
I've been busy with finals. It's November.
Fine, we'll work on it a little today.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, so
I appreciate the time crunch.
I'm glad all of you have enjoyed the all-new series. Well, I assume they all have.
Yeah, just go ahead and smash that like button on the episode that's not out yet. Get it ready.
But anyway, so quick one note, this is the second episode of the series. What the whole concept is, I will present Jacob and Tyler a topic, and then we'll see what happens. Therefore, what's the name again?
You made the name. It's Will That Happen.
Well, that happened. That's it. Hashtag WT happened.
You made the show.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the series that I created.
So
That's like if freaking Steve Harvey was on the Steve Harvey show, and he's like, "All right, guys, welcome back to man. What is this show called again?" Steve Harvey. Yeah, what is it? No, that's the show.
all
Your
this
name and show.
Yeah.
So all this laughing is a good segue because today's topic is: are we funny? Like, what is jokes? Basically, are we funny people?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah, no. All right, roll credits.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting thing because we think among ourselves we're pretty funny.
Okay.
You gotta think that, but there's a lot of people out there.
Okay, well, I think about it's kind of funny because we were watching SpongeBob right before we did this, and we were watching the episode. We were watching Big Pink Loser, and it got to the part. It got to the "This is Patrick" part. I've never liked that joke. I never thought it was funny, and then Matt was like, "Well, like everybody likes that joke." I'm like, "I've never liked it. It's like the most overrated joke in SpongeBob." So like. Automatically, right there, I've always thought like, well, humor's super subjective. Someone might think I'm hilarious, but someone else might think I'm like the
Well, and it also,
most unfunny person they've ever
depends
met.
it also depends on the context around it, because with that particular joke, that became a meme at one point, so that may be because why you don't find it funny. And
Maybe not, but I never found it funny when I was a kid either. I was just like, that's a part.
yeah, I mean, it was like, it was the funny the first time he did it, and then when he like kept doing it, it was like, okay.
The joke is old.
Yeah.
But then again, that's a kid's cartoon.
Like, some of the best jokes are the ones where they're just very quick one-liners that you have to think about afterward, like not so much the running jokes. Like, still speaking of SpongeBob, like a really good joke.
Are you talking about the one like it's like we got a couple more tracks, SpongeBob?
That's a really good one too, and then he uses red paint. But I was thinking of, from my absolute favorite episode of SpongeBob, like if you mute it in front of me, I can quote the whole episode line for line, is the Doodle Bob episode.
That one's
And, like,
always great.
It was such a good joke whenever SpongeBob like drew a jellyfish or whatever, and then it flew off, and he's like, "Patrick, do you know what this means?" And he's like, "Your art can never hang in a museum."
Yeah,
It-
no,
like,
that
'cause it was
stuff.
one- yeah.
Well, it's like stuff like that where it's like it's really like rev up those fryers and stuff like that. Where
Hey, rev up
it's
the
like
fryers.
it's simple humor, but like I love it. And
He wants to kick my butt, and then it's like Old Man Jenkins. How many times do we have to teach you this
that's
lesson?
an old man.
I just love the young people.
You can do a repeat joke and it's still funny. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like my thing is with like, are we funny? That I do wholeheartedly believe like. People, I feel like there are people that find all three of us funny, but I also feel like there are people that find us reprehensible and don't want anything to do with our sense of
Right.
humor. You know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then it depends on who like the audience is that you're asking, because like our audience right now that we're talking to, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Hard to tell. I don't read the comments on our videos.
we don't have many.
We don't have many.
comments.
Oh.
And then usually people just come up and talk to me about it, and it's like, yeah, this is still going on. I
Yeah.
think.
But as
But
far
they don't
as
talk about like if we're funny or not. They just like to listen.
Yep.
That's two different things. I feel like.
Which is fine. I don't
Outside-
necessarily mind someone who just wants to listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
like outside of
view is a
here,
view.
outside of here, I have people tell me I'm funny, like personally.
Who's that? I don't believe. I need to meet these people.
I mean, honestly though, because honestly, like my comedy humor is basically where I just throw something out there and hope it
Your
sticks.
comedy humor.
My comedy humor. See,
Yeah.
exactly. My way with words.
Title's mouth words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
No,
bad
I mean, I think Well, I think there are some episodes of Beneath the Table that are like, this is more just us talking about something. It's just like, oh, we're just having an interesting conversation.
And then there's other
We
ones-
have other ones like where we're talking about work
It's
stories,
loud.
and some of them are funny. Like some
Yeah.
of them are really funny.
Like that one episode we never uploaded, where at the end I was basically doing a Crash Bandicoot Woe to Evanescence while you were trying to end the episode.
Yeah.
that was a long time ago because that was when that meme was still
was-
like peaked.
It was still one of my favorite recordings, and you deleted it, and I'm upset.
It's not deleted. I have it on my hard
I want to
drive.
listen to it.
We posted as a
Like,
lost
I don't-
Beneath the Table episode.
Like, I don't even care if you don't upload it. I just want to hear it, like, externally.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Okay.
it's taking me back
Uh,
to a few months ago.
20. I mean, it was almost a year ago. That was like during
That was almost a
Christmas.
year ago.
I think-
It was in the Samoa movie.
Yeah, that was like-
episode.
that was
His
like-
father came in that one.
That's crazy.
I think that was like the second to last before our season finale.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Oh, for the season finale.
Yeah.
Well, we never. Well, we got like halfway through season 2. Like the last episode we uploaded was the game.
Yeah, see, that's how we're doing it. We're doing it like those like new like what is it, CBS shows where it's just like here's a season, and then season 2 it's like here's half a season. Gonna take like a how long was it? 8-month break.
Almost a year break.
And then rebrand and finish the second season.
What show did that on CBS?
A lot of them do. I think Flash did that at one, or not CVS. The CW is what I meant.
Yeah, I was like CBS.
No, they.
I know that Sleepy Hollow definitely did that, and I think Supernatural does that a lot, and Walking Dead does too.
Well, they take
Walking
like
Dead
they
does, like,
take-
the half-season
they
thing all
take
the time.
They take a hiatus, like a couple-month hiatus. Otherwise, the show will finish up before like the year was.
Well,
up.
no, I know like the hiatus like between main seasons, but like with Sleepy Hollow, they did one season where they went from like
That's a weird show. It's like they have like so many like story arcs. and
Yeah,
stuff.
Even still, we have completely gone off
I
topic.
stopped watching partway through season 3 because I'm like it's just the
Anyways.
same thing.
We were talking. We went from
that's
Are We
fine.
Funny to reminiscing on Beneath the Table, and then now we're on the CW.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like a lot of people make a lot of jokes about the CW. If you watch a lot of shows now, it's like, oh, what's that? It was a movie. I can't think.
Sabrina evades taxes.
No, it was like
What?
it was like one. Of the, it's like the main character who says, actually, no, it's Superstore. And like,
Oh, yeah,
Jonah,
yeah.
And it was like Jonah, the
That's
main,
on-
the main
Yeah, yeah,
guy on NBC.
That's on Hulu, by the way.
Yeah, that is on Hulu. And like, it says,
That's on
I know what
Watermelon.
it is. You like a villain for the CW. It's like, oh yeah, you look like a villain for the CW.
I'm
I
actually-
didn't see that one. That's awesome.
Me and Cassie just finished the episode last night with the Black Friday episode.
I think that's a really.
That's a really good episode.
I feel.
Was that the one where like all the stuff got marked down to like 99 cents?
No, that
Yeah,
was like
that was
early.
the
That was like one of the first
That was, like, the
episodes.
first episode that
Yeah,
happened.
no, the Black Friday one's the one
Everybody
where
gets
they
sick.
yeah, they all get food poisoning from like their pre-Black Friday like breakfast thing they had,
Oh.
and then like everyone keeps getting sick. And like
It jumps up,
Garrett,
like, 5 people walk in the whole store.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and Garrett's like did like a 3-hour long announcement or something like that because he was just like, we need you to work register 3, and he's like, all right, let me finish making this announcement, and he just keeps explaining. He just keeps explaining movies that you can find on like some kind of app on like their Cloud9.
See, now that's
Tablet.
funny.
My favorite-
That's comedy.
See, my favorite line in that episode is like they were closing, and it's like, customers, the store is now closing.
Closing in 10
That is-
minutes.
No, the store is now closing. That doesn't mean please get your stuff and bring it to the front and check out. That means please get the hell out now.
Yeah. right now.
No, and like Glenn's like has like a steam has one of those like has a
It's a-
forklift, and he's
No,
like,
it's not a forklift. It's like a
Like
it's
a pallet thing?
No, it's like a floor wax. So he's
yeah, and he's like chasing everybody. He's like, all right, have a good night, everyone. And he's like chasing everybody out of the store with
I
it.
think that shows genuine. I can't.
Genuinely.
Yes, thank you. It's funny, and maybe that's because I work in retail in some aspect. and
No,
I-
like it's definitely one of those things where it's a show that's
if you work,
especially marketed towards certain niche.
Yeah, well, the thing is with like, cause I'm what more than halfway through season 2 now. I think
don't know
yeah,
what you
yeah.
watched.
I mean, the Black Friday episode I think is like halfway through season 2, but like season 1, I was like, this is pretty good. This isn't bad. Like some episodes were kind of duds, but like season 2 so far has been pretty consistently good.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I guess it's true. All humor is like very niche,
Yeah, it really is.
but I feel like you can quantify if somebody is actually funny though. I feel like that's out there somewhere.
I feel like that too. I mean, when you think of like great comedians and stuff like that, like people everybody remembers, like most
Dave
people,
Chappelle.
yeah, Dave Chappelle.
Louis
Everybody
C.K.
loves everybody loves Dave Chappelle. Most people love George Carlin, stuff like that. Or you have like movies that everybody like comedies that everybody likes. Like
Right.
most people I know like
Comedies are so hard to make. I
they
feel like.
really are, and like that's why I think like the '90s was like a lot like a lot.
I know.
Most
I was
comedies in the
I was
'90s were
actually
like
thinking, I was actually thinking about this the other night as I
Jim
went to
Carrey
sleep, as you
comedies.
do. Comedies and actions have a similar thing. Like comedies are easy to make. They're just easy to make. They're hard to make correctly.
yeah.
No, I think it's they're easy to produce. It's hard to write for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because comedies, they don't involve a lot of things. A lot of it's situation. Like,
Yeah.
you have the people, here's the place, this is what happens. Action is higher to make because of the things you have to do for it.
Yeah, and
But
you don't want
because you can write yourself out of it.
the thing that's easy to write with.
I'm just want to put this up. I'm not diminishing anybody who's a writer out there saying it's easy to write.
No. And the thing with action though is that it feels like it's easy to write because a lot of the blockbuster action movies are pretty generic. Like, and they all have like that same. I'm not harking on anybody who does that. I mean, power to you if you're able to make it in this business. But like, it's definitely one of those things where like with comedies, I think it's harder to write a comedy because humor is more subjective than action. If you want to go watch mindless action, you can go do that.
That's right. There's a lot of those movies out there.
and
But with
it's
comedy, some people are going to find something funny and other people
Yeah.
aren't.
And it's like if you have a mindless comedy, then you have a problem because comedy has to have like actual effort and thought put into it.
Yeah.
As
Comedies
opposed-
come in threes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think of like
Not in zeros.
I think of I'm trying to remember like I'm trying to think of some good examples of like good like really good comedy movies that a lot of people like.
A lot of people like planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in years. Holy crap, I forgot about that movie.
Technically, that's a Thanksgiving movie.
Really, yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird because it snows, so you're like, oh, Christmas, but it's like, I guess it's New York or whatever. Is it Chicago?
I can't think. I don't watch many comedy movies. Like I like Tag. That's a comedy.
Yeah, that's a
movie.
pretty good one. I like a lot of weird comedy movies. Like I love like dumb comedy. Like I love like the Naked Gun movies, and I like.
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah, Dumb and Dumber's great.
Except
like
Dumb and Dumberer.
don't watch that. Do not watch Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber 2 is good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it because I
Like,
didn't think it was gonna be good.
It's not like astoundingly better than the original, and it's not necessarily as memorable as the original, but it's like
I forgot
It-
it even came out.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
it's a proper sequel.
Oh, I got it. Classic comedy. The Three Stooges.
Oh yeah.
Not the movie. I'm talking about. The
Yeah,
show.
Yeah, the
no,
show.
of course.
Well, there's a lot of classics like like Looney Tunes. Think
Oh,
of like
yeah.
stuff like Looney Tunes. That stuff is still funny. Like not all of it,
And
but
it-
like
and that's
I think of like Foghorn Leghorn. He wasn't in all that much back in the day,
I say.
but all of his stuff was like the best. Like I absolutely
That's
adore
like-
all the
see,
Foghorn
I
Leghorn
didn't
stuff.
like Foghorn Leghorn. when I was
Okay,
little.
see-
I like him now.
Yeah, I didn't like him when I was little either because I was like, it's Foghorn Leghorn. I was always into Daffy and Bugs, which I still am. Like,
No,
but like,
Rodo and Coyote.
oh well, those are great too.
And see, Looney Tunes is like one of those
And
examples.
Tom and Jerry.
Looney Tunes is one of those examples of good comedy where like it can continue to like evolve and progress
Well-
through the ages.
Well, I think about like
Successfully.
I think about the Looney Tunes show that came out like a few years ago. Like
Right,
that
yeah.
was amazing.
Well,
like that was way better than anybody thought it was
Well,
going to be.
here's the thing, Looney Tunes and like Tom and Jerry back then, those were actually marketed to adults.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think about like Tom and Jerry back in the day is like the peak of
But
slapstick
see,
comedy.
that's the thing too is
Also,
that when
they're so violent.
Tom and Jerry
They
now,
are.
Tom and Jerry now isn't really all that good because they keep trying to do weird movie things.
Also,
And
Where they
try to
talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Market to kids and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like too much to kids though. So like that's kind of an example where like both are classics, but one kind of was able to use its comedy and evolve it as time progressed, and the other one was just like cat and mouse. Just
Yeah.
I did
slap.
like we did it in I think 2006 on this CW for Kids.
They did, yeah,
I
it's-
actually
it's-
like that one.
That
I didn't-
was
I didn't even watch
That
it.
was actually a good one, but I think because that one was one where it was kind of like a I don't know what you would call it. Maybe I guess you could say like a love letter sort of thing because they kind of tried to keep it close to the original,
They
just
kept
with
they tried
new
to keep
animation.
It, yeah, with new animation
Yeah.
styles.
For me,
Um,
for me personally, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't know where that thought was going, anyways.
Okay, so for
Thanks
me,
for
the
avoiding the
peak
train
of like animated comedy came in like the whole like adult animation boom of the '90s and stuff
Right.
like that. Like some of that stuff is like unquantifiably good. Like
Well, it's because it's a lot of it is smart humor.
Yeah, like, well, a lot of
Rick and
people-
Morty's really smart.
yeah,
humor.
yeah. Well, like a lot of people, someone's gonna comment like,
Probably not.
"How that's really cringy, Matt."
Yeah,
No, but-
are you
it's
saying
all-
I have to have an high IQ to watch Rick and Morty?
Yes, I do. Let's be honest.
No.
Even though I think, what is it, the next season probably won't be out until next year.
Something like
Oh,
that.
Late next year.
It's been like 2 years now.
But I think it's stuff that came out in the '90s.
it's
Like,
one year.
look at Animaniacs and like.
Oh, I
and
love
And stuff
Animaniacs.
like that, where it's just like, man, that is like everybody, pretty much almost everybody I know loves Animaniacs if they've seen it. You
What-
know, it's
Wacko, do you know how to conjugate? Conjugate? I've never even kissed a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'll show you up in the front of the class. Good night, everybody.
well. See, here's the thing that's perfect about like Animaniacs. There's just enough in there for adults to love it, and
Yeah.
there's enough in there for kids to love it.
Yeah, like,
you
they
know,
do
it's
wanna- like,
so
a lot of
good.
political humor
Like
in it,
Wacko.
too.
Like,
Yeah.
Like even stuff where it's just like there's not even really like humor per se to
Well, it's
it.
really
Like in the
smart.
joke, like the one episode that like everyone knows and loves is friggin' like the what is it, like the states the state besides me apparently, the
well-
states song.
Yeah, oh, yeah, dude, oh, yeah, everybody loves it.
Sings
Yeah, Wacko.
And it's
sings-
wild that
A lot of people know the States because of that song.
Oh yeah, like everyone loves it, and that's not even necessarily like a joke episode. Like there's not really many jokes besides like any visual comedy.
Yeah,
that's
and of
shown.
course-
What's the other one I was saying again? I forgot.
Yakko, Wacko, and Dot.
Yep.
Yakko does like all of Europe's countries.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, yeah, Rob Paulson, that's his name. He's the guy who voices Yakko and like 8,000 other characters. But
Right.
like he still knows that song by heart, like all of them.
He's one of those voice actors where whenever like people make those kind of photo murals where it's like a selfie of them and then they put the characters they voice next to them, like they're like, we gotta crop it wider, Frank. There's not enough room for all the characters.
I mean, there's just so many good Animaniacs quotes. Like literally, like the one of my favorites still is the Thanksgiving one where they go back in time to the pilgrimage and
Right.
like
I know that one.
like give me the bird because they like stole a turkey or something. I don't exactly remember what happened, but like he was just like give me the bird. Yakko's just like, well, I would, but the censors won't allow it. You know, stuff like
no,
that. It's just
my-
like it's so quick. It's just
Yeah,
joke,
or
joke,
like-
joke,
or like
joke,
the
joke.
one-
Like it's just constant.
Or like the one where they're trying to solve a mystery thing, so they become detectives, and Yakko's just like, all right, Dot, you look for Prince, and then she pulls like. The
Oh yeah, no,
she-
no, he's like no, he's like
yeah, she's
fingerprints.
like-
I found Prince.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
pulls like the singer Prince out of a window, and he's like, no, fingerprints.
I
And
don't
then
think
she
so.
looks at him. I don't think so. And Prince is like, ugh.
There was a lot of shows that use that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
joke.
back in the '90s, it was easy to get away with. Like,
because if I
But
would-
see, I feel like other shows would have like kind of drawn on it too long and been like, ha ha ha, we
Well,
did
yeah.
that edgy joke. With the Animaniacs, they did it and then they went.
well,
like,
let's see.
they didn't wait
did
for
you
the
watch
applause.
Psych?
no, I have not.
Did you watched
me
some
and
Psych.
you and Isaac watched like
Like, and
together.
it's like Carlton talks to Sean's like, we found Spencer, you missed something. We found Prince, and then he's like, oh, under the cherry what's it, under the cherry blossoms or
Yeah, something like that.
And the little Corvette, and it's like, so they went on like maybe like 4 things before it's like fingerprints. Get it now?
I guess I'm not getting it.
No, because like it's the same thing as
Forensics.
Forensics, like fingerprints, and then
I found
he
Prince,
thinks-
and they think he means Prince, P-R-I-N-C-E.
Oh,
And he's
okay,
like, no,
okay,
Prince
sorry.
is in P-R-I-N-T-S.
yeah, and they went on for like maybe like a minute and a half about it. So
I guess it just like completely passed by me on that one.
How long do you think is like a bad amount of time for like a joke to go on for?
well, okay, what kind of joke? Because there's different types of jokes.
Say like the joke you just talked about. Do you think it went on for just the right amount of time, or do you think it overstayed its welcome for just like a 10 or 20 seconds?
I think they
And
did it fast. They said it fast enough where it didn't last too long.
Okay.
But if they were slow, if they said it too slow, it
Right.
would have been too long.
And granted, that is a very ambiguous question because it really depends on the joke, because depending on what the joke
because
is.
it could be a situational kind of joke.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily like if they're doing the same joke, but they have different punchlines to it that keep stacking on top of each other. It's like, okay, this can work.
Okay, well, think about it this way. Think about. Okay, I'm gonna go into the YouTube territory now.
All right. We're now
So
talking.
I think about when you mentioned like how long jokes goes on. Think of any Let's Player you've ever seen and how long they like to carry a joke on.
They do it too long.
Yes, look at PewDiePie back in the day when he was playing like Amnesia and stuff like that. I don't watch him now, but back when I was a kid, huh?
He's dropped so much
Yeah.
subscriber wise.
Well, he kind of has like a different media thing now.
He's doing different stuff, which I actually respect that
Yeah.
he's trying new things.
Yeah.
But like
anyway.
with Amnesia, like think of like how many times he was just screaming the word rape.
Right.
And I'm not even
Is it
saying I'm not saying like I'm not going to be the guys who be like that's horrible. Nah. Like I'm not saying that. I'm
Yeah,
just
it
saying
is
in
what it
general.
is.
Think of just how annoying that was
Right.
when he was doing that episodes and episodes and episodes long.
Right.
Where it was like okay man, it's not funny.
Well,
It's not funny.
Yeah. And I feel like, but then there's also a difference too, where it's like it works better when you're with people because like Then with Game Grumps, when they do jokes where they're laughing about it for literally like 3 or 4 minutes straight, it's funny because they're both just working off of each other and they're kind of laughing at the joke, but just
And plus,
also,
their laughter is contagious. Too.
Yeah, like they're just laughing
I
at
don't
each
know,
other's
I don't
laughter.
think so.
But see, that's the thing. It's like that's where it comes into subjective. Like you don't like Game Grumps, we love them,
Yeah,
but
because
like
it's like the one joke where when they were playing Mega Man and they were like, basically the joke was that they just kept coming up with different like robots that rhymed with Crash Man or whatever.
yeah, and that was great. Like,
Yeah.
and that's still one of my favorite moments from the whole
Yeah,
series, like
it
the
was-
whole anything they've ever done.
Oh yeah,
and that was like early.
That was great.
But like my thing, and that was like early in the Dan era. But like we also think of people like JonTron,
I like John.
who is also just like amazing with like, dude, he can just riff off anything. Like
Yeah.
he's really really good with his type of humor. Yeah, I know. Like literally, you can think of so many things, and it's just funny. Like he's really funny,
I
and
love
like
the first one I saw from John Tron was his drug PSA commercial one.
yeah,
That's such a good one.
I think what was
Like
like
your meth baby, your meth CPA.
yeah, he's your meth mom
See-
and your meth dad.
my first JonTron episode. I saw JonTron when it was like early JonTron.
Me
days,
too,
where he
yeah.
where he mostly did video games. I want to say my first JonTron was either the Aquaman episode.
I just watched that one the other day.
Yeah, or
That's old.
maybe it was the Charlie's Angels one. I'm thinking it was.
That one's
something
pretty
else.
great.
Yeah, I'm
That
thinking
one's
it-
That one's pretty
yeah,
great.
I'm thinking. Oh no! I think my first one was I saw his Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts episode.
That's still like a
That was like the defining episode of JonTron where like he transferred from being like, as he calls himself sometimes, like humble JonTron to like the JonTron we know.
who is
like,
just
remember his-
weird.
Yeah, like humble JonTron was just awkward and like tried to.
It was really uncomfortable, like the Daikatana review
Yeah,
and stuff
like
like that.
the
Was like,
very first
ooh,
one.
it's like kind of shy
It
and
was
weird,
kinda-
and I
it
don't
was
know how to
kinda
feel.
like- yeah, it was kind of like he was trying to like go by like the unspoken rule set of how to make a YouTube video game video.
I think of JonTron the way.
Like a list in a
Yeah.
way.
Well, see, here's the
that's what
thing.
I'm saying.
I think because my dad likes JonTron a lot, and I did not
Yeah.
expect him to like him. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I think the way he does humor is like, when we think of something we want to say in our heads and the way we say it and stuff like that, this is kind of a weird, like, way of, like, thinking about it because it might be,
Right.
like, looking into it too much. But, like, you think of something you've seen and you, like, over-exaggerate how you would react to that thing in your head, and he does those over-exaggerations on camera.
Right.
And so, like, that's what makes it...
Well, and then
I think that's what makes it you to...
I feel like you have to practice how to do that. Too.
Yeah,
that's-
well, think of like,
like-
I don't get it and
Yeah.
stuff like
Like
that,
that-
where it's just like that's so perfect.
and
Like the
that's-
way he did that was perfect
And that's the thing.
stuff.
And that's the thing with
Oh
comedy
yeah.
too.
Oh.
No,
Yeah, like comedy also like is a very like a large like I would say a third of a good comedy joke or thing is the delivery and how you deliver it and like the timing of it.
his humor is very observational.
Yes.
You know, because we work together.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I have a good joke, and I say it, like, I mess it up because, like,
Yeah.
I don't say it right, or, like, my timing's bad.
Right. It's like with John Mulaney and his the Radio City special he did. Like one joke in particular.
The Kid
that-
Gorgeous in Radio
Yeah,
City or
Kid
something. I never
Gorgeous.
actually saw that yet.
It's
but-
very good. There's one joke in there that really gets me, especially because I'm a creative writing major, and he like graduated with a creative writing degree. And he talked about like with his school sending him a letter. I tell this joke to Matthew all the time, but
Yeah,
I think
he
it's
does.
hilarious. Because it's he talks about where his school sent him a letter being like, "Hey, you want to donate some money?" He's like, "I already paid $180,000." And then he goes on, he's like, "I paid $180,000 for some lady to tell me to read Jane Austen, and then I didn't." Where like, and that delivery is just so perfect. Like, because if he did the same joke, but he said something where it's like, "Yeah, I paid a ton of money to not read Jane Austen, even though I was supposed to," like that wouldn't have been as funny.
I mean, I think of stuff like that with like George Carlin and
Right.
stuff like because I mean he's one of my favorites. I mean I don't agree with everything he says, but
Right.
he is so funny and like the way he's able to like bring people into what he's saying,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like I mean, I think about like I'm trying to think of one that's appropriate because he can be kind of
Have
messed
you
up
seen
sometimes.
Kevin James don't sweat the small stuff.
I've
No.
not seen that. One.
That's really funny, and it's just like he does one of the bets like on King and Queens is like I hate when people give me a phone number and it's like 423-855-17 and then they don't fit like and then it's like 17-8-7. It's like what? Why don't you just finish the rhythm? It's like bum 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 bum.
Oh yeah, no, I mean yeah, and that's those things too where it's like making jokes about stuff that doesn't matter, but then when you mention it, people are like, yeah.
A lot of people mention like when somebody loses a TV remote, it's like, yeah, it's true, it's pretty frustrating. But you don't think about it, and then when somebody says it and they put it to over exaggeration, and hand movements.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
One of the best things I've ever saw was a Carlin thing. He was talking about how language is just getting worse and worse, and people are adding more and more syllables to like words and stuff like that. And it's just like back in the day, whenever someone when someone's stress levels got to the point where their brain just snaps and they don't know what to do, they called it shell shock. Simple, direct language, 2 syllables. Then we called it operational exhaustion. It sounds like something that will happen to your car and stuff like that. Where just
Louis C.K. is really good at doing exaggerated stuff too, because it's like with his one joke he talked about where he was like trying to just go to like CVS to get like tissues or something, and then like he goes off on a whole like that's a lot of Louis C.K.'s jokes is where he's talking about something, then he just goes off on this crazy extreme aside because he talks about he's like going to try and go to like a CVS to get tissues, and then he's just like, and then this deer's in the way of like the road and I have to stop, and people are always just like, oh, you should look at the deer, it's beautiful, but when you live in the woods you'd see it all the time and you're like, go. And then basically like long story short, he talks about he's just like, I hate deer so much, like I would get like a disease and then do something to that deer so it would get the disease and die. And then he's like, and then after he says that, he's like, so anyway, I was on my way to CVS.
he does that all the time.
And like it was like a 7-minute rant.
Or at least he did before he did the thing, and then he got in trouble.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that here.
That's another episode.
It is not at all. We should talk about it off. We should talk about it off the record.
That's not an episode.
Because if we're going to keep this family friendly, we don't need to talk about what Louis C.K. did.
I mean, I don't know. Matthew already changed the rating for this episode from G to PG.
Because he said hell.
Yeah.
When did I say that?
You said it earlier.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, it's like last night. It's like I don't care.
But yes, I have to show you. I have
Like
to
after
show
I
you.
left or just in general?
No, it's like
the phone thing.
yeah, the phone thing. It's
Yeah.
like I don't care.
So,
It's
like,
like you're proud of it.
Can I mention that before we end real quick? So last night, I like made an announcement for one of the managers on the phone, and then it was like over the intercom, so then I hung up the phone. And then we were just kind of chilling. It's Tuesday. It's always slow on Tuesdays. And then Matthew just starts telling a story where he's just like, so I was actually kind of like a bully in high school to this one kid with like a couple other friends, and then goes off on this whole story. And he like weirdly sounds proud about it the way he's describing it. And then
That's how he tells most stories.
But then, like, 2 minutes later, after he's going on with the story, like, our manager comes around the corner and she's like, guys, you're on the intercom. Like, the phone didn't...
That's amazing.
The phone didn't hang up all the way for some reason, so then, like, we closed it. And so I'm just like, Matthew, the whole story thinks you're a jerk. The whole story just heard your story. And just like, yeah, I was a bully in high school. It's pretty cool.
Nobody heard that, though.
Yeah,
You couldn't understand me.
Then I went to the manager and I'm like, how much could you hear that? And she was like, oh, it was just mostly mumbling, but like you could hear the mumbling. And I'm like, oh, okay. But it was just very funny at the moment thinking that Matthew's whole conversation of that just went over the intercom.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Carly was on the floor laughing.
Carly found it hilarious. Yeah. She said the defining thing about it too, that she knew it was us up at the front, was she heard a laugh, and so it was probably my laugh.
It was your laugh.
My laugh is loud,
Yeah.
so you know.
Mine's pretty loud
Whose
there.
others would it be? It couldn't be the cashier's intercoms, because...
I mean, it could have been yours, but you know.
Okay, well, that happened.
Yeah. Well, that happened. Ba-da-ba-ba. I almost started doing the Castlevania theme.
You said it last time.
Yeah, I
too.
was about to go like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So, yeah, that's the end of the show. Not the series, the end of this
Yep,
episode.
we're gone. See you again in 10 months again.
That's the end of this episode of, well...
That happened.
Well, that happened.
Or you can call it...
Yeah, check us out on Twitter at #WTHappened. Patent pending. Probably not on there yet, but get those hashtags ready. Get it ready in your...
We should, before we launch a couple episodes, we should start hashtagging it.
Oh, we
and
should.
Build up a thing.
We should make a Twitter account. I can run the Twitter account since you run the YouTube account.
Do you even use Twitter?
Yeah, I use Twitter all the time. I just made another Twitter account.
Excuse me.
Okay, we'll get to that later. All right.
My latest tweet was something where it just popped in my head. I was just like, oh, this is brilliant. And then I tweeted, dead dreams make memes.
Come on, man.
I mean, they do.
You can comment and tell us if we're funny through Tyler's Twitter.
Tell us if we're funny.
Yeah, tell us if we're funny.
Please. Okay. What was that one Gang Grumps thing where it's like, you're the person I decided to do comedy the rest of my life with. Please laugh.
Please laugh.
All right, so thanks for joining us today. I'm Matthew,
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Jacob.
and that's been... Well, that happened.
Well, that happened. You made the show.
Bye.
It's been 2 episodes.